All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our continuation of our journey into the exciting world of photosynthesis. Now, right now, you're probably saying, we've already seen this slide. Why are you showing it again? Well, what I'm going to show you today is how this light reaction actually works. You know, why do we need water? How is oxygen produced? How does NADP and ADP, how are they converted into ATP and NADPH? Now you guys might think, why do I need to know that? Well, in life you probably won't, but on our test it's going to become a short answer question, like a semi-essay question, so it may become pretty important. All right, before we get started, don't freak out. This is going to be a complicated process. So regular bios, I just want you to know, the basics of how this works. Honors bio, I want you to know the basics too, but you're going to have to be a little bit more in detail. But for both of you guys, there's going to be a lot of extra credit that you can get on this in this short answer / essay question. All right, in case you didn't know, this is a lake up here. Boop, boop, boop. That's a lake. Down here, that's a river. And this is higher up than this. And the lake has way more water than the river down there below. So we're going to say this is a high concentration of water. Hopefully that kind of rings a bell from diffusion, high, low concentration. This would be a low concentration of water down here. So naturally, this water, if you broke this dam, this water is going to go down. Or if you open it up, if you open up a little hole, it's going to go from high to low concentration. Well, that's why they build dams, because that movement of water through the dam from high to low concentration turns turbines and makes electricity. That's how you make a lot of electricity. Hydroelectric dams. Well, the same thing kind of happens in our cells. Obviously, it doesn't use water in our cells. In our cells and in our chloroplasts, they don't use water, but they use hydrogen ions. And we're going to signify that but with red dots. So up here, the lake, instead of high concentration of water, it's a high concentration of hydrogen ions. And down here in the river, not that many red dots. That is a low concentration of hydrogen ions. So those ions, all by themselves, they want to move from high down here to low. And just like in a dam where it can make electricity, in your cells, it can make other forms of energy. All right, so we remember from the last slide that during the light-dependent reaction, we make NADPH, which is an electron carrier. They carry electrons. And we make the energy molecule ATP. This entire rectangular structure, that's the green disk called a thylakoid. So this is what's happening within the thylakoid membrane. Since this is called an electron transport chain, it does not need protons, it does not need neutrons, it needs electrons. And the question is, where does it get them from? It needs an endless supply of electrons, and it gets them from this guy right here that looks kind of like Mickey Mouse, a blue with 2 red balls. That's water. That's H2O. H2O donates an electron into the electron transport chain. When it does this, water is split into its 2 hydrogen ions and also its 1 oxygen atom. These 2 oxygen atoms, these 2 O's, bond together to form O2, and those guys are released into the atmosphere as a waste product. Now, this electron that gets donated into this green structure, it's called photosystem 2. It gets energized by the sun, and it gets passed down the electron transport chain. The first guy it goes to is this mobile carrier called plastoquinone. If you want extra credit, sure, I'll give you extra credit for that, definitely. And then plastoquinone passes it on to this protein structure called cytochrome. Guy right here. The energy from that electron is used to pump 2 hydrogen ions inside of the thylakoid. So we've just lost 2 hydrogen ions outside in the stroma, and we've gained 2 more inside of the thylakoid. The electron is then passed to the mobile carrier plastocyanin, extra credit, which then takes that electron, which has lost a lot of energy by pumping in those 2 hydrogen ions, and it gives it to photosystem 1, PS1 right there. It uses the energy from the sun to re-energize, because it needs energy again. It's then passed down to a guy named ferredoxin, which takes it to the last protein structure called NADP reductase. From there, NADP reductase attaches the electron to NADP along with a hydrogen ion, another one of those red balls, to form NADPH, which goes on to fuel the Calvin cycle. Now, as you can see, we're gaining a lot of these red hydrogen ions on the inside, and we're always losing them on the outside. Every time water, this guy right here, is split, we gain 2 red balls, or 2 hydrogens. Every time an electron passes through here, we gain 2 that get pumped in through cytochrome. And every time we form NADPH, we lose another hydrogen ion. So we're getting a high concentration of hydrogen ions in the inside and low concentration out here in the stroma. And we know that all molecules want to move from high to low. Well, this is what happens. Just like water going through a dam creates electricity, the facilitated diffusion of these hydrogen ions through this protein structure called ATP synthase, that energy is used to convert ADP into ATP. All right, so here's basically what I said in word form. Here's the first slide of this. There'll be another one, maybe 2 more. And here's the second one of them. There might be one more, I can't remember. Okay, here is the kind of condensed version of what you will need to know. Don't worry, I will go over this again, so don't start freaking out. And here is a nice little picture that shows you the entire process of the light-dependent reaction of photosynthesis, which occurs within the thylakoid membrane, which is right there.